Welcome back to What the F Sports with Bo, Keoni, and Lazyboy. And you'll notice that Bo is missing because Bo does what Bo does. And so we'll probably see him next week. But that's okay. We got the good fill in. We got Peter Fleming, another rabid Dolphins fan. We're going to talk about some funny stuff he used to do back when the Dolphins were really, really terrible. But it's been a crazy week. It's been another weekend of comebacks and upsets. It's crazy. My betting the last 2 weekends is basically I wish I didn't put down any money on anything.
Oh yeah, man. Between that Dolphins game, the Raiders, man. Oh my God, I lost. My fantasy looked pretty bad this weekend. So lowest score I've ever accumulated, 87. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
That's hard to get 87 points, Jason.
It's pretty bad.
You can get 87 points and forget to put a couple people in.
I swear, man, it was like, man, my defense was like, I had 49er defense, but like everybody else didn't show up.
Oh my God. If you had Baltimore or the Dolphins defense, you can just forget those fantasy points. We'll go ahead and get the teams that we like out of the way so we can talk about other teams. That way we're not accused of just being a homer show. The Dolphin game was very interesting because I walked down the street and I went to watch the game, get something to eat at the tavern. And once Lamar Jackson ran for his 70-whatever-yard touchdown and it went up 35-14, I said, check, please. Then I got home, started playing video games. I put the DirecTV on. Thank you, Brad. I put the DirecTV on my phone, and I had it over there, but I wasn't really paying attention. And then all of a sudden, something told me to look right, and I looked right. It was 35-35. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. They erupted in the fourth quarter. It was something I didn't even – I'm calling – I was about to call you. I was about to call somebody that liked to talk and talk trash. Like, the Lamar show took over. It was 79-yard touchdown. I was like, okay. Did a little flip in the end zone, a little somersault. I was like, okay, he's got it going. And then, like, next thing, blink of an eye, man, it was crazy. It was a crazy game.
Now, me and you were checking in on our game, but Peter was actually watching it. So, Peter, where was your turn of emotion?
I didn't see the touchdown because we had DirecTV issues during that thing. We came back somewhere in the third quarter. By that time, it was already 35-14.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never saw the Lamar Jackson touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I just saw the score change, and I'm like, well,
You're like,
Dolphins had problems with Baltimore. I don't even know the last time Dolphins beat Baltimore. It seems like every year we play them, and every year we lose them.
They beat them last year.
We beat them last year?
Yeah.
So funny thing. I was actually in DC yesterday, and that morning we got up. I was like, hey man, let's try to go to this game. And the Dolphins fan I was with, he was like, man, it's probably not even gonna be a good game, man. Lamar Jackson's gonna kill him. And we're sitting there at like 3:30. He's like, why the hell did we not go to that game? I'm like,
you always go when you have the chance. You never know what's gonna happen. You could say, I was at that game.
That's what I was like. I just want to go see a good game, Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson. I'm like, let's go watch it. He's like, man, it's probably gonna
For the record, Lamar Jackson did kill the Dolphins. They scored 35 points. But Tua and Tyreek Hill and
Jalen Waddle
killed the Baltimore defense.
That man had 35 fantasy points. Jesus Christ.
And then I know it's hard to give the Dolphins defense credit because they did score 35 points, but Baltimore, like people will say, well, Lamar killed them and it was dominant. Yeah, well, Baltimore, you're still allowed to score points in the fourth quarter, more than the field goal. You're allowed. Okay, you're allowed. So the Dolphins defense for a quarter did do their job because they got nothing in that fourth quarter. You can't make a comeback. I think we talked about Bo with this last week, right? When you're doing a comeback, if the other team is still scoring, simple math suggests you're never going to catch up.
Right. It was just an explosion, man. It was no defense, and Dolphins just were clicking, man. Like they spread the ball, man. They got man. Tyreek Hill got 10 yards in front of those 5 defenders on that one touchdown play. I was like, how the hell and then Tua threw it in an empty spot. So he just caught the ball right there.
Yeah. And then Jalen Waddle outran everybody. Well, you're still going to have those detractors. Everybody put up the video that Tyreek Hill had to slow down twice. And I tell them, go look at some early videos of Mahomes, not last year or the year before, like in the beginning, or even Peyton Manning with Marvin Harrison. It takes time in practice and in a real game to judge someone's speeds. Tua was throwing a ball to a spot that he thinks Tyreek Hill's going to get to, but Tyreek Hill was already there. You know, like and anybody who's ever played quarterback, it's such with a speed guy like that. It's always timing. That takes a little bit. They'll get it fine. They'll be all right. Now here's the problem. They got Buffalo this week. Buffalo's not going to have a lot of blown coverages. So we'll see what happens.
But, what did we say last week? Miami is undefeated. South Beach is undefeated. You go down there, have a good Friday night. Nobody's Bill Belichick to make them boys.
Well, you know what? Well, Bill Belichick's successes in there isn't great. But the difference with when we say the South Beach flu, it's different with the Miami Heat than it is with the Dolphins for this respect. Yeah, football players will still kind of go down there. But the Dolphin Stadium's in Miami Gardens. That's a good hike from South Beach. Miami plays in downtown Miami, which is a bridge away from South Beach. Right over there. Big difference. Big difference.
What are those flashing lights over there? Let's go check that out.
Well, let's talk about your team. So, Peter, last week show, Jason we have no patience these days. Quarterbacks get in for 1 or 2 games and, this guy sucks. He can't read defense. He's terrible. He's never going to be any good. As if no one's ever blossomed, right? So I
didn't say the kid sucked.
Not you.
I said the coach, his game plan is just one half of plays.
Well, that's him for all eternity. But we're still not going to ignore the fact that you went home and got your Trey Lance voodoo doll out and twisted his ankle.
No, he was just running him a lot was not a good thing against that defense. Like they were out to kill him anyway. Like the first 4 shots he took, they were hitting him like after he hit the ground a couple plays, and then like that one play he got out. He didn't. It wasn't even. It was just he looked like he was going to slide and guy fell on top of his ankle and he kind of it looked bad. Looked real bad.
Doesn't every athletic quarterback go through that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, but he's hopefully not saying I hate Trey Lance. Hope for a speedy recovery. Hopefully he comes back next year looking good. Jimmy G just got in there and was like, Jimmy G's like set in his ways. That's probably the reason they didn't want to keep him, because Jimmy G's not a scrambling guy, and most of Shanahan's plays are like, the option, the pistol, running things like that. Like, but he stayed.
But he knew that when he traded for him. That's the thing. We make, not you, but we make all of these pronouncements after the fact. Well, you traded for him. It's not like Shanahan got to the team and Jimmy Garoppolo was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you traded for him. You didn't know what you were getting when you traded for him? Man, has anybody here ever traded in a car? Don't you figure out what you're getting for your trade-in first?
Not me. I just went up there and got that old Nissan Sentra that I was, looking on computer. I was like, oh man, this is nice. Yeah, it was.
The only thing in life you trade in without certainty, me and Peter have both done this over the last 2 years. You trade in work for retirement. That's the only thing you trade in. And you don't worry about what you're getting. You're like, I'm going this way.
Yeah, but John, you're doing more work now than when you were employed. I mean,
my God.
Work for yourself, you probably pulling in more hours.
My boss is gonna hate if you said that. Make sure you edit that. Take that part out. I love my job. I am not worked to death. I have the most fluidity of hours and most understanding boss in the history of bosses.
Oh, speaking of boss, that's a disclaimer. I have to mention the Giants winning yesterday. Okay, there you go. Giants,
Wait.
good game. They won a good game, tough fought game. 2-0 Giants. Okay,
That's
let's
two
move on.
games in a row for them.
Wait, what's the misery in saying that?
I just said speaking of bosses, I had to answer to the boss this morning where I had to.
Oh, because the wife.
Yeah, the
was a
boss
Giants fan.
had me mention the Giants. The Giants winning. Yes, honey, the Giants won. Good job. Let's move on.
Don't be. Is she there?
No, she's working.
Okay, that's why you got a little bit bigger cojones. Speaking of cojones, two things I liked from the Dolphins press conference was, the after game interviews was Tyreek Hill saying Tua's gonna need a wheelbarrow for his cojones. By the way, if you can't say his last name, just say Tua. And then the coach Mike McDaniel saying, I talked to the team and I said, I hope we can experience a little adversity this week. But he said, I think they took me way too literally when I said that. I really like this guy. He's really funny. He's so mild mannered. Back in the day, a coach like this would never make it because the old school adage is you got to be a guy who's yelling and screaming and punching people. But you don't have to be that way. Tony Dungy kind of proved that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's Shanahan's like Tomlin. Tomlin's really not he's got those big eyes, his piercing eyes. He looks right, and then you're okay. That's like, when your mama look at you, if you've done something bad, you go,
you're gonna take this L.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take the L.
Right.
Okay, so what was it like college? Well, you know what? I should have did this backwards. I should have gone with my disdain for Saturday and then jumped into my happiness for Sunday because the Hurricanes got me. I get emotionally invested in the story of my life, and they got me good. Well, he was missing his primary receiver. It's not the biggest excuse, but then the fumbled punt it was agonizing to watch. Did you get to watch any much college football this weekend, Lazyboy?
No, we're actually traveling Saturday. I just caught a little glimpse of the late games. Really wasn't. I got to DC about 11 o'clock. I just heard a little bit on the radio. Didn't really catch much. Did watch baseball though. We went to the Nationals game.
Oh,
cool.
You went to a Nationals game.
They're playing the Marlins.
So why must you bring up painful things for me?
I mean, it was I'd say the only thing going were the loaded tater tots. That was pretty good. I was just watching two teams that were just not that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was, they had, I watched a little bit of the Saturday game, and then I there for the Sunday game, and I had my football on my phone while I was watching the baseball game, so I pretty, I wasn't really.
You know what? That brings me to a good topic that is off subject from sports a little bit, but it has to deal with arenas. Peter, when's the last time you were at a Major League Baseball game or NBA game or NFL game?
The last time I was at a Major League, any kind of sports game, was with you in London at that show.
Well, hey, Jason, here's story time. All right. Our friend Chris, she's a rabid Saints fan, right? And they were playing the Dolphins in London. What was that? 2017?
A while back. I remember y'all talking about the trip. Yeah.
It was October 2017.
Yeah. And so they forgot to tell me if they cemented going to the game. So they had already bought their plane tickets, straight shots to London, right? So, of course, when I get the news, it's like 2.5 to 3 weeks before. So the tickets straight to London were ridiculous. I couldn't afford that. So not looking at the globe, I said, ooh, let me get this $300 because $300 to fly to a European country, That's amazing, right? Well, I booked a ticket from Raleigh, North Carolina. I had to go to New York. Then I had to go to Istanbul. And then I had to go to London. And if you don't know where Istanbul is, that's overshooting London by about 9,000 miles. Our trip was 5 days, about 5 days, and I spent 3 of those days traveling.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then
he has
and then
the worst
Dolphins
airport
proceeded-
story ever.
Yeah. And that's the short version of the story. And of course, the Dolphins end up getting their.
Tom Hanks almost bought the rights to his airport story. That's how bad it is.
All right.
Yeah, Jason, if I tell you the full story, it'll take up the whole show, but it is extremely funny. There's so many things that went on in the different airports in in different countries, and it was
The U.S. government hired him as an ambassador to the Istanbul airport.
I basically lived there for 2 days. So
Wow.
in total, it was just, and it's one of those airports that doesn't close. You know how airports here, they close at a certain period of time. Well, the Istanbul airport's open 24 hours a day. So basically I lived in there. I wasn't going to go out anyway. They were like, well, you can go out and go to a hotel. I'm like, I'm not going out of an airport of a country I've never been in. That's not saying anything bad about Istanbul. I don't prescribe to that, because going out, it's bad enough when you go outside of an airport in the United States when you have a long layover and trying to get back in. Try to do that in another country. No, thank you. So here's the question to you, Lazyboy. You want Jimmy G to continue this season, or you hope Trey Lance is all right and he can finish out the season?
Well, there's no way in the good green hell he's going to finish this with that ankle.
But that wasn't my question.
It went the other way. But Jimmy G is he's there. I think they're actually looking for other people. I heard Cam Newton. I heard some other people, but I think if we're looking, we don't need to look. Let's just stick with what we know, because I can't.
Is Jason trying out to be a politician? What are you giving me right now?
Look. Of course, I wasn't on board for Trey Lance. I'm not gonna lie. He's just. He wasn't there yet. He's not there, or wherever there is, because, like I said,
I'm not gonna answer that question.
So Jimmy G is our guy right now.
There we go.
I'm not saying.
I heard that they were going to trade Garoppolo and Marcus Mariota with the Falcons, just do a straight swap. That's what I would have probably did this to my hat and turned my shirt inside out. Because
you are doing a good replacement for both stuff like that, Peter.
Mariota, the journeyman. Good God.
Oh my gosh. So Jason, you live in the house with a Giants fan, you being a San Francisco 49ers fan. I'd love for you guys to meet in the NFC Championship. That would be awesome. And then of course we have Peter, who is married to a Chiefs fan. How's she feeling about her Chiefs?
Oh, she's happy about the Chiefs. She's still pissed off about the whole Tyreek Hill thing.
And Ogba. She's probably less pissed about Ogba than Hill, but
Yeah, she doesn't even know who that is.
Wow. Well, tell her, hey, she shouldn't be pissed. She can't find comfort in your happiness right now.
She's very. I was surprised. We went up to Brad and Chris, and she came out of the bedroom wearing my Tua jersey, and I was both confused and a little bit aroused at the same time.
I know that's right. Ain't nothing hotter than that, man. Hey, nothing hotter than that.
Let's go to the segment called. Jason, we're going to go to the segment called "What the F Play of the Week." So what is your what the F play of the week? I've got 2 of them, and God, I'm not trying to stay on the Dolphins, but those are the 2. You know what? Those are easy. That's been done all over every news outlet. My what the F play of the week is going to be Jameis Winston and the bomb that he threw that was picked off. Not understanding the game. It's 3-3. It's a defensive battle. You cannot get impatient and try to take something that's not there, throwing into double coverage and trying to throw a 50. The difference between him, oh God, I got to praise Brady. Him in that game, of course, it's Brady. He was poised and he waited for his opportunity. Jameis didn't wait for his opportunity. And that's the play that I think killed him. If they would have been patient, gone down and scored, now you put the pressure all on Tampa Bay. So that's my what the F play of the week. You got one, Lazy Boy?
Well, not a play, but Evans coming to the aid of Tom Brady, that's a bonehead play, man. Why would you go, come from off the sideline to knock Lattimore down and to get, to put yourself in a position like that to, you're a part of the team. Like why risk that?
And lose the fight. He ended up at the bottom. Well, his mistake was, if he would have stayed on the field, he would have been good, but he walked off and walked back on. Second of all, one of the things that got him upset was he hit Leonard Fournette in the helmet. But here's the part that I love. Tom Brady exacerbated, is that the right word? I'm not trying to do a Stephen A. Smith. The emotions of the situation, but then took none of the smoke. Like he turned around, he said, first of all, Tom Brady said something to Lattimore. First of all, Bruce Arians said something to Lattimore, which I don't know why. Take your ass in the press box.
Yeah,
you didn't want to coach anymore. Take your ass in the press box. So Lattimore said something to him. Then Mike Evans didn't like what he said to Bruce Arians, so he said something to Lattimore. Lattimore said something to him. Then Tom Brady said something to him and interjected him. So Lattimore, I don't fault Lattimore. He responded to everyone who said something to him. He said something to Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't like it because, he's a little sensitive. And he turned around and came up on him. Then since he came up on him, Leonard Fournette's got to protect his quarterback. Then Lattimore hits Fournette. Then everybody's shuffling, and Tom Brady didn't join in the shuffle because, of course, he doesn't want the smoke. But hey, yeah, there was no forward movement in Tom Brady in that scuffle.
Yeah. That 45, that age 45.
Not an idiot.
Okay, so it's a fight brewing. I can't even beat up Giselle, so I know I can't beat up no grown man.
Oh my God! You really just said we're gonna move straight ahead. Peter, do you have a what the F play of the week?
How do you let Tyreek Hill get behind you on 2 consecutive series? Right, you throw like a 48-yard touchdown. Next series, boom, it happens again. How do you let that? Do you he plays for the other team, right?
Yeah.
If you're the Ravens secondary, how do you let that happen twice in a row?
You see it all looking all like this. They're like, hey, what are you doing? What were you doing?
Yeah, because when it happens the first time and they made it 35-21, you're like, okay, it's a 2-touchdown game. Let's keep everything in front. That's like the norm. That's like the go-to. Keep everything in front of you now, and then. But all it takes is for 2 people to be mixed up. I don't know who the signal caller is on defense for the Ravens. Sorry for that. So I don't know who's the person on field. I don't know if it's Peters. I know it's not. I don't think it's Williams. So obviously a mix-up, especially on the second one, because sometimes when you're rewatching a play, you can tell if a cornerback thinks he's supposed to have safety help. You can tell because they'll stop at a certain point. And then when the ball's up, they look back like, what the hell? And people will say, well, he got burnt. Well, no, you get burnt is when you're playing man and you're running sideline down the sideline with the guy or middle of the field or wherever the play is going. But when a cornerback stops and starts looking in other places and then the ball gets thrown, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to have safety help. So I don't know what that was. But, Peter, that's a good what the F play of the week. It's crazy. How about them Panthers?
Nice. Well, we got to talk about them again.
Oh my God.
Hey, I mean, man. Man.
It's funny. It's too many years later. Huh?
I thought they would be better this year.
Well,
mean,
I
they're
thought they
0-2.
would be better. Well, you know what? Coaching sometimes is baffling. You know, when
Yeah.
the first game, their coach forgot Christian McCaffrey was on the team.
Facts.
I don't know if he was just trying to get Baker Mayfield to win in Cleveland, but who cares about that? They forgot Christian McCaffrey was on the team, and then this week,
You could throw it to Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you don't have to hand it off to him. You can throw it to him too.
you can
He'll
do
catch it.
anything to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Right?
he's a pretty.
You could let him take the direct
Army
snap.
knife. He is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, it's just he was like, good God.
They,
Like,
I don't. And then what do? Like you put Sam Donald in? Like it's the worst. You know, usually they say, "Oh, we got two good quarterbacks. It's a good problem to have." That's the cliche, right? I don't think that's what they're saying in North Carolina. And the reason why I had to see the Panthers game, of course, is because I live in North Carolina, so that's what's on TV. Shit. It's just insane. Who's the worst team in football to you after these first 2 weeks? Ooh, you got to think about it. Ooh, you got to think about it. Oh, you know what? Let's do like this. What's the worst team or the most underachieving team that you've seen in the first 2 weeks? My
Colts.
Oh.
that
Worst or underachieving?
Yeah.
Which one? Worst or underachieved? Just severely underachieving.
Are just bad right now. Like it's. I mean, but did they win? They're over. They have a tie and a loss. Yeah. Tennessee is my team, man. They're just not. They're not featuring Henry. They got blown out last night by the Buffalo Bills. Like
I'm going to negate the Bill ones because the Bills just blew out the Rams, and that just might be the Bills. But that first week, when they got upset, and then right, I expected when I saw the box score Ryan Tannehill to have a terrible game, and that's why they lost in week 1. But that's not why they lost in week 1. So I'm surprising at them. I thought they'd be 1-1 at this point in the season, not 0-2. The Raiders are definitely disappointing.
That was my disappointing pick. The Raiders. All that talk about them boys getting back together again, and then they just, it's not looking. It's not looking.
The rest
good.
is not a division that you want to try to climb out of.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not the division for that. The Bengals are surprising, but the only reason why the Bengals are surprising is because I thought, hell, you went to the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. You retool it. You got Lyle Collins. You got some other offensive linemen, and this is supposed to be good. And it's maybe because of new offensive linemen, it's going to take time to gel. Maybe you call Whitworth out of retirement. So, hey, do one more season with us and retire as a Bengal. I don't know what you do, but you got to do something. Joe Burrow's going to die.
Oh man!
So Brad said that they didn't play their new offensive line during preseason because they were terrified that one of them would get hurt. But their lack of, I don't know, synchronicity or whatever really showed in the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You can tell people who have not played any preseason have either started out really slowly. I'm talking about individual players, and a lot of them have gotten hurt. Football is one of those sports you can't just tiptoe, put your toe in the water. You got to get in the pool. You got to get in the pool. There was another team I was thinking about. Who was on my mind? Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. Surprising team for me. Well, not surprising. The Jaguars. This is the importance of good coaching. We get quarterbacks all the time in the league, and their careers don't go the way that it's projected, and people call them bums or busts. But your environment is so important. After the fact, we always say, well, this was going to happen. Like let's take Tom Brady, for instance. Getting drafted by New England and being in a situation where Belichick ruled all, right? Being in that controlled environment versus something like, I believe David Carr is better than Derek Carr, but David Carr came into the worst situation ever when he got drafted by the Houston Texans, right? Look at Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill is as good as he's ever going to get because he had 7 years of non-progression because of having 4 or 5 different coaches, 7 different offensive coordinators. You can ruin someone's trajectory by not being in a stable environment. Russell Wilson, people used to get mad at people who commented on Russell Wilson over years saying he's not as good as everybody makes him. The Legion of Boom is what made them that good. But ever since the Legion of Boom disintegrated, what's he been doing? You know? And so we react, but not look at the full scope of what we're reacting to. Sometimes people are better than what we thought they were, and sometimes people are not as good as what we thought they were. Their environment plays a very significant role. What do you say about that, Peter?
Oh, I agree. While you were talking about that, I was actually looking at the standings, and I got another submission for most disappointing team or most underperforming. The entire AFC South division. They have 1 win.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are
leading
in that division. That's how mind blown head is.
Well, we knew the Texans. We didn't think the Texans were going to be good. We thought the Colts were going to be good. We thought the Titans were going to be good. And again, it's only week 2, but that was the Jaguars is why I started that development. Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer looks totally different than Trevor Lawrence with Doug Peterson.
Absolutely.
Hell, Nick Foles looked better with Doug Peterson. The only person that didn't look better with Doug Peterson was when Carson Wentz came back. But we know what we know about Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I mean, they like you were saying, like even the Eagles, man, that shows what a difference a coach and like a new atmosphere makes. Like those boys played pretty good.
I think the Eagles would have been good with Doug Peterson. Jalen Hurts was doing good with Doug Peterson. I think that organization chose Carson Wentz and then realized they had to get away from Carson Wentz. You got to remember the Eagles also added A.J. Brown with Devin Smith.
Yeah.
Speaking
of signing, Cole Beasley just signed with the Buccaneers, so that might be a little slot guy. They might have Brady. Brady might fit on.
Brady loves his little white slot guys. That's just been amazing. Amendola,
put Edelman on that jersey.
Wes Welker.
Yeah,
got Cole Beasley. I'm surprised they don't trade for Barrios.
I was like, Cole Beasley, he wears number 11. Might as well throw that little Edelman on the back of that jersey.
So, Jason, you said you went to the Nationals game, and looking at MLB, got the standings up. For all those Yankee haters, we know the Yankees look like they were poised to just go on a mission. Aaron Judge, good Lord. Aaron Judge, God. You forget John. Just whoo. They always get that guy. The Red Sox were a complete disappointment for me. But when since we're sticking on the stage of disappointment, what Major League Baseball team is a disappointment for you? And I forgot the Indians changed their name to the Guardians. I totally forgot that. I was looking at the box score like a month ago, and I saw Guardians versus the Twins. I was like, they do exhibition games? It was like, oh wait, no, that's the new that's the new name for the Guardians. It just sounds it's gonna take a while for that name to stick. It sounds like a AAA mascot's name or something.
I would go with a football team name. That just like that sounds like a football team name, like a arena.
So the Commanders
arena.
And the Guardians.
Yeah, the Cleveland Guardians. They playing at the arena.
Dan Snyder name.
Yeah.
So who's disappointed you in baseball?
The Red Sox come to mind because they're always in the chase. They're always like 1-2 with it's always 1-2 in the East with the Yankees. But like they're in the bottom of their conference, like Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is always like that redheaded stepchild in that East Conference, but like Boston's just like they're not going to be in the playoffs or not even the wild card. So it's going to be kind of weird not seeing them in the playoffs in October.
Oh, weird for you, maybe. Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay's been good. over the years. One of the most disappointing teams. I won't say disappointing. I just thought that they would be better than they are right now. Um, but obviously they're not. I thought Kansas City was going to be better. I thought Kansas City was going to be better than almost 30 something games, almost 40 games under 500. So that's been disappointing to me as well. But yeah, that's just and who won? The Nationals or the Marlins?
I think the Marlins. I think the Marlins won that game. Yeah, we left a little early, but the Marlins won that game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I just love Peter calmly coming in. Doesn't matter. Well, you know what it is. When football season is over, that's when you spend more time talking about other sports. But football dominates the conversation. When we're in football season, let's talk about the upsets. All right, we got two types of upsets that we're going to talk about, right? We're gonna do like we did last week, where good old Keoni goes ahead and runs down the list, and you're gonna say upset or no upset. Peter, this is your first time here, so you haven't played this game yet, but it's pretty simple. I say the schedule, and you tell me upset or no upset. Jason, you know what we're gonna do? Peter's our guest today. If you got something. We're going to keep tally and we're going to put up the score and see if you beat Peter out this week in picking upset or no upset.
Let's do it.
So we've got the Steelers versus the Browns. Who you picking?
Who's even favored in that game?
The Steelers are.
I think the Browns probably win. I haven't seen anything from the Steelers that really.
Okay, we've got Bengals at Jets. Bengals are favored.
The Bengals got to win. The Jets, I know that somehow they're 500, but they can't win again.
Oh my God, Jason.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Jets, man. They're riding high off their win last week. Joey Flacco threw a touchdown that I didn't think he could throw anymore. Caught the receiver wide open. But I say I'm gonna go with the Jets at home.
Joe Flacco's going to be laying in a bathtub of Epsom salt all week. Jaguars at Chargers. Is the Jaguars going to make an upset out of this?
No.
It's gonna get pretty ugly, and it's gonna get pretty ugly. Chargers are gonna run away with that.
Okay,
I agree.
That's what Jason says. Oh, you both agree. That's my upset pick. That's my upset pick of the week. And
if
then
the Jags win, people's minds will be blown.
Not if you watch the way they're playing. And then we have the Bills at the Dolphins. The Bills are going to be favored.
I don't see how the Dolphins win. The Bills are amazing.
I'm a go on a limb and man say it's going to be a close game. It'll be by 3 points, Dolphins.
If it's going to be a defensive battle, Buffalo's going to win that. They've been known, but Miami does a good job because they have a good secondary, but the legs of Josh Allen finds a way to kill them every time.
The only way the Dolphins win is if in the first quarter Josh Allen drops back to pass and tears his Achilles tendon.
That's not true. That's not true, Peter. Wow,
that's the only way the Dolphins
win. Peter. Okay, so Peter,
even then they still might lose.
What year did you burn the jerseys? Was that the 1 in 15 year, or was that more recent?
I do remember the first time I burned a jersey was a Monday night game against the Bengals, and we were up by like 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, and by the end of the third quarter, we just pissed it away, and I was so mad. I grabbed like 1 or 2. Well, they were T-shirts. one of two of my oldest Dolphin T-shirts, and I just went out to my fire pit and I burned them.
And what
So-
Peter did was he burned a Dolphins memorabilia every week until he won a game.
Oh man! The only time I remember burning or doing something to one of my Niner shirts was the Chip Kelly era. I was not happy with that. Chip Kelly was trash.
Oh, when he coached the
He coached the Niners. Oh my god! It was brutal to watch. Brutal.
Yeah, because some people thought he was gonna look like he did in Philadelphia.
Bring this hybrid offense with the pistol and all this stuff, and it was just like, oh.
Well, you have to have the components to do that, right?
Yeah, we didn't really.
Got to have the components to do that. And if you don't have the components to do that, then it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Who are you guys playing this week, Jason?
Let's see. Let's see here. We got the Broncos at 8:00
at the Broncos, right?
In Denver. Yep.
Yeah, that's a win.
So we get another shot. We get another shot at Russell Wilson.
I am confidently saying that's a win.
Let's hope Russell Wilson doesn't have that magic he had in Seattle back then.
No, that magic is gone, bro. That magic is gone. There are people who can be overly hyped about college football games this week. Those are usually people who are rabid college football fans. I always look at the schedule and I was like, what game am I interested in watching? It's a bunch of games I'm not interested in watching. I don't want to see Florida, Tennessee. I know they're two SEC teams. Who cares? The U is playing middle Tennessee State. Blah. Texas is playing Texas Tech. Blah. Kentucky's playing Northern Illinois. Blah. Alabama's playing another dominant. Huh?
Florida, Tennessee is going to be a good game.
Well, whatever. Alabama is playing another SEC powerhouse, Vanderbilt. I look, and I'm not even an ACC fan, even though my team is in ACC. I'd rather watch Wake Forest Clemson because Wake Forest is going to beat Clemson. It's that should have been my upset of the week. And the mighty Georgia's playing Kent State, so it's not a really riveting weekend. And Michigan's playing Maryland. It's like, this is a dog.
That's why the NFL is so popular. There's a lot of parity.
Yeah, a dog.
I don't understand why Georgia gets to play Kent State, and it's just. And then who wants to play? Y'all got to go to. You got to play Georgia. There that is.
We got to get this money. That college has got to get that money.
Yeah.
Send those guys out there to get beat up for 4 hours and body slammed for $1.2 million or whatever it's for. That's why I always laugh when older people or people in general get mad at NIL or college players trying to get paid. It's like, you guys will gladly take booster money. You'll gladly take schools that give you money for your undersized players to go out there and get just destroyed, beaten and bruised and battered. And then you got to get them up to play next week. It's just simply ridiculous. But hey, don't play. And then we got the adage of, well, they get a scholarship. We know damn well that when people are going to get great football players to go to their school, they're not worried about them being there for 4 years. They know if they have a great player on their hand who's going to be in the NFL, he's going to be there 2 years at a minimum, maybe 3, and then he's gone. They know that degree's not coming. So let's stop doing they get a scholarship and they get a free education. They're not there for the education. A lot of them come back, yes, but come on now.
I mean, so they come back because they feel they can dominate that that time when they get there. Like they've been through the BCS Bowl, and they want to come back and possibly knock off Alabama or Georgia if they get there. But I mean,
wait, what do you mean come back? No, I meant come back, get a degree.
Yeah, when they leave and come back. Oh yeah,
because you can't leave and come back and play, Jay. Yeah. That's illegal. You're gonna see Jason. Well, go ahead, Peter.
Not yet.
Yeah,
You
right.
see Jason in a football.
I heard
A
Tom
lot of
Brady's
people
going
they
back to
come-
Michigan.
Jason's gonna go back and play for his high school alma mater. Like, we've got a really big defensive lineman who's terrorizing the field.
They're like, hey, what did he play? Did he play quarterback when he was playing? Like, what the
No,
hell?
he was a different body, not same guy. Shave that beard, just put that helmet on, keep it on nice and tight. You just see Jason just running over.
My,
Like,
my jersey don't fit. It's like up here on me. I'm like,
you got
That's supposed to be a halter top.
yeah. I'm like,
you know, when you open the biscuit.
oh man. They were like, you're not playing quarterback. I'm like, yeah, I played in 95, 96, man. Tell me.
Oh my God. So yeah, what'd you get out of Monday Night Football? We had 2 games. Did we?
Buffalo, man, look, man, they hitting on all cylinders. Him and Stephon and man, Stephon's just a beast, man. 2
Again,
touchdowns.
why is he not double covered, and how's he get behind your whole entire defense?
I don't know, man. It's like, and he's got these bright yellow gloves on too. Like you can't see like running by you, and then like next thing you know, you're looking at him.
They thought those were penalty flags. They didn't realize they were gloves.
Yeah, that's what they thought. They were like,
Wow.
But
well, I was being ridiculous when I said, did we have 2 games? Because we also had the Eagles play the Vikings, and I thought that was going to be a wildly entertaining game, and I was wildly wrong.
I would, after watching what Cousins did, man, I would not go. I'd try other options. He threw like 2 interceptions in like a matter of 2 minutes. Like it was.
He threw one after they got a turnover. Well, here's the thing. He's always been a roller coaster.
But they pay that man. They pay that man money to like. God, it's just that's a bust right there. That to me, that's a bust. Like Cousins.
I'm still trying to figure out how the Vikings beat Green Bay in Week 1.
Yeah.
They didn't just beat Green Bay; they throttled them.
Green Bay, their defense, there's nothing. There's nothing.
Jason, you reported this to me before. Well, it was 3 hours ago when they said another new weapon for Tom Brady, Cole Beasley, and at this point, can you call Cole Beasley a weapon?
unless
butter knife,
like use them as a weapon, yeah, like to throw them at somebody.
Peter, I see what you did there. They love to call people in the receivers in the slot like a Wes Welker or a Swiss Army knife. He called them a butter knife. I am done. I am done. Yeah. So wait. So Kurt threw 3 picks, but we can dissect that first pick. It's kind of on a receiver. You gotta break. You gotta break into that. But after that, I mean, good God.
Fantasy wise,
But now we see why. But the funny thing, people used to get on Stephon Diggs because when he would make certain throws, Stephon Diggs would be like, look like he's having an aneurysm. Like, what are you doing? And now we saw Justin Jeffries do the same thing last night. What are you doing? It's just crazy. I think Dalvin Cook is not utilized properly in that offense.
He didn't get a lot of burn last night, I don't think.
No, but you gotta, like you said with Christian McCaffrey, you can do other. You should. They know these things. Us 3 knuckleheads sitting on what the F sports doing this for the fun of doing it should not know better than an NFL coach how to scheme their players.
Sometimes I wonder, like, I mean, could I have been a good coach in football?
No.
I can think of, if I just take a peek of outside looking of what, like I said, my situation in San Fran, like, there's so many things you could do with those guys, man. Not just the first half. You just run reverses and run, like little slants and stuff like. Because Trey Lance was throwing the slant in right at the guy.
Well, you know
Not
what? In your defense, Jason, you have had the equivalent of NFL coaches watching tape, because Jason, for the 5 years that I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina, was the savior of Buffalo Wild Wings because he kept all the games on in the right place. Anytime he wasn't there, it was a damn catastrophe. And everyone would be screaming, "Where's Jason?" And he's been watching games and films.
I watch a lot of football, a lot of useless information I got. It's been going on longer than 5 years. I can tell you that. I've been doing it for about 15, 20 years.
Speaking of Buffalo Wild Wings, and you don't have to comment on this, Jason, because I don't know if you still work for them or affiliated with them. You can't have Wild Wings in your name and your wings not be as good as almost every wing place that I eat on up here. I do not understand it. Hooters and Buffalo Wild Wings have the most overrated wings.
It's football season, so of course I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm not biased or anything, but I've always liked their wings. I mean, I maybe it's because the way I make them myself. Rather than
so that's what's going on. You go back there and make your wings the way you want to. No, don't get me wrong. The wings aren't terrible. The wings are good. I'll eat them. But there's so many, like, the wings should be, it's Buffalo Wild Wings. They should be, you can't go to a steakhouse and the steak is not the best thing on the menu.
Yeah. Like I said, they go by, they have a recipe that they make. They make it by a recipe and by a certain, timing what they do. I kind of go unorthodox with making my wings, and it's from the same place. I'm
kind of mad, Peter, that he's just now telling us this. We could have for 5 years been saying, Jason, can you go back there and make us some wings? He's just now telling us this.
That is a request from some people. They're like, "Hey man, let me get the Jason special." I'm like, all right, I guess I got you.
Peter, is this the first time you
didn't even know that was a thing? I've known you for like a decade. I didn't even know that was a damn thing, that there was a Jason special.
Every once in a while,
the QR code. I didn't see no Jason special.
Yeah, that's like the secret menu. I can go in there and.
But you should have told us we're your friend. You know what? You ain't shit. You ain't shit. Wait till I tell Chris.
I work a little angle back there. I might mix a sauce or two. I may fry it a little longer. I may season the wings before I throw them in there. I mean, but hey, that's.
The one thing that got me hooked going on there, I don't know who that owner was or the manager or owner of that Buffalo Wild Wings when I first started going there way back in 2012. But when they used to host a Super Bowl, it used to be amazing.
Yeah.
Remember those first 2 years in 2012 and 13, we went there for Super Bowl, how they took the people who are there every Sunday and made a VIP section in the bar. And the only people that could sit there were the regulars. Everybody else got to sit in the rest of the area. And the regulars had a buffet table. We could order food, but y'all had a mountain of wings and other things over there for us. And we still all ordered food.
Yeah, it's
so great.
It's
and then
a lot.
They're like,
A lot's changed, but like we got an innovative manager now. She's
sweet.
She's coming up with a lot of ideas. I think they're gonna start giving away a jersey every Sunday.
That's funny because they do that at the local sports bars up here. The non-franchise local sports bars. Every week they have a raffle and they give away a jersey.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing I want to do. I know I can run a successful sports bar. I want to do that, and I want to be able to have like giveaways and like people come in and like give away signed memorabilia and stuff like that. I want to do something like that.
When you have a franchise, you should still operate as if it's a local play. Like the one thing, I'm not a big McDonald's fan anymore because the food has gotten gross. But the one thing I've noticed McDonald's will do, people who own McDonald's, when I go to different parts of the country, they have things that are not on the menu other places. They've got grits in Georgia. They've got a Cuban sandwich in Miami.
Grits.
They've got biscuits and gravy in Texas. Like, but that's what I'm saying. You got to know your audience to where you are. You're a franchise that's all over the country, but make it feel like you're not just going into any Buffalo Wild Wings at anywhere in the country. Make it feel like you're going to the Buffalo Wild Wings in North Carolina or Florida or Oklahoma or wherever it is. So that's I like that you said that she's doing.
I think the Buffalo Wild Wings in Fayetteville is actually owned by Buffalo Wild Wings, whereas like the B-Dubs
we're very much
is franchised. You go and get a cup of coffee at the B-Dubs in Wilmington, and it's delicious. You get a cup of coffee at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Fayetteville, and it is like they went up the street into the dumpster of McDonald's, pulled some old ground coffee, and made coffee with those grounds.
Hey Peter, it's the hot dishwater. And then we put it in the filter with the hot dishwater.
I remember one time I showed up to the Buffalo Wild Wings.
There should be like a frat hazing test. Like you bring in your frat brothers, like before you join, you got to drink 2 cups of this stuff.
I remember going to a machine. It's a coffee machine. It's just not a working.
My Keurig better. First Watch has really good coffee, but anywho, I walked into the Buffalo Wild Wings early one time, and Peter had a large cup of coffee and like a large and a big old glass of Coke, and I'm just like, so we're just killing the kidneys today. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. He also had like a beer and a glass of water. I had like 4 different beverages. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. What NFL game are you most excited? Oh, you know what? Something I want to give a shout out. Something that happened this weekend. WNBA finals. The Aces won. There you go. Give them a little shout out. We're not going to pretend that we know the ins and outs and everything there is about WNBA basketball play, but we can acknowledge a champion when we see a champion. So congratulations to the Aces for winning the
Their first.
That's correct. Their first. Oh, okay. And you know what? You didn't even know that was going to be on here. So look at Jason doing his homework.
Oh man, I like I said, I'm useless information. The first Vegas team to win a professional championship. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be the Knights. The Knights got so close.
Yeah,
they did.
They got close. They got so close that, you know, I don't want to talk about hockey. I'm a Pittsburgh, even though I'm Miami and I'm a homer with everything. Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins. I am not a homer when it comes to hockey. And I mean, I love the Panthers, but I was always a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And yeah, last year was not happy for me. People go, oh, you know, New York made this great comeback. How did they do it? Yeah, illegally knocked Sidney Crosby out. That's how you do it. But anywho, what game are you looking? Let's wrap it up. What game are you looking forward to see this weekend? What NFL game are you looking forward to see this weekend? Most looking forward.
I see Washington probably knocking off the Eagles.
Well, that's a proclamation for an upset, but that is what you're the command. Yeah. You're most interested in watching a game that has the Commanders in it. That's kind of sad.
Well, I would like to see these Commanders take out these Eagles, man. I mean,
why do you have such hatred for the Eagles?
Oh, no, I don't hate the Eagles. I like to see an underdog go in there and do their thing. And I think I got a good feeling the Commanders will win.
God, go watch Rudy. Get off my channel. What's the game that you're most you want to see the most this weekend?
Well, the obvious answer is Bills Dolphins, but I think the Dolphins are going to get throttled, and I don't know if my heart can take it.
Every time you say that, it doesn't.
Maybe I'm going to tune into the Raiders and Titans because somebody's coming out with a W for the first win.
You know,
the battle of the losers.
You know, it'd be funny. I would laugh my ass off if the Colts beat the Chiefs. That would just mean this season, that would solidify that this season is going to be crazy. We've had 2 crazy weeks, but things sometimes seems to settle down, right? But if the Colts beat the Chiefs, and let's say great fashion, not a game-winning field goal, let's say they beat the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns, That is going to tell me that this season is going to be crazy. The game I'm actually most intrigued to watch is that's going to be more telling for me about the Dolphins is how that Patriots Ravens game goes. That's what I want to see. Do the Ravens bounce back and destroy the Patriots? Do the Patriots
The
have
Ravens will, because they smell blood.
Well, here's the thing. If the Patriots have another 20-17 game, I'm going to chalk that up to the Patriots just have a really good defense. And, of course, they've got Bill Belichick because the Dolphins couldn't score at will against the Patriots. Neither did the Steelers. I know they had Mitch Trubisky. But, hey, this Patriots defense and the schemes that they use might be really good. So that's why I'm most intrigued to see that game. How does this game play out?
For the sake of getting not being in the doghouse, let's get these Giants beating these Cowboys on Monday night. So
they're playing Rush, so I mean, who cares? If they win, they played a backup quarterback. If they lose, typical Giants.
Yeah, but me, I gotta throw that in there just so I can stay on the good side.
That's one thing I can respect about Peter. Unlike all my other married friends who have to enjoy the joy of their other team and be at misery, like if the Giants, if their wife's team plays their team, they got to kind of secretly hope they win, but outwardly hope. Peter's like me. If the Dolphins are playing the Chiefs, he wants the Dolphins to win.
Oh well, no, any day, all day long, that would be. But I mean, that would never be even a game between us and the Giants. But that's that's what I think. But if they're not playing us, I mean, and I'm not even that kind of guy. I'm a 49er fanatic, so there's no way I'm cheering for them. Dallas, I don't like Dallas. My wife is a Giants fan, so that's it.
They hate us because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us.